Coach, for DeAndre, year one from year two as a starter, what have you seen from him in camp to see his growth and maturity?
Well, you see more confidence. You see more, I guess, poise, more composure, more assuredness in what he's doing. You know, I think last year in some ways he's kind of feeling his way, trying to earn everybody's trust, earn everybody's respect. I think right now he has it. He's pretty secure in the fact that he has their confidence. He's ready to hopefully take his game to the next level, which how you see that as results or stats or whatever, you know, a lot of that depends on other people. But I think he's ready to take his game to another level and play as a third-year player as opposed to just a second-year guy.
What is the next step, whether it be physically or a tool that you want to see him develop that he can take that next step?
Well, I think as you mature, you should see things better. You should understand not only what the offense is trying to accomplish, but what the defense is trying to do. If you understand that better, and you know where to put your eyes, you know what you're seeing, you can anticipate things a little bit better, maybe play a little bit faster. You know, one of your biggest challenges as a player, period, but especially as a quarterback, to play fast but not rush. You know, as soon as you start rushing, everything comes to blur. The better you're prepared, the more you understand about what's going on, you can play fast, but the game almost slows down for you. And that's where we got to make that strides with him, is to be able to play faster, but almost have the game slow down in his eyes.
Obviously, one of the toughest positions to grasp, especially coming as a freshman, is quarterback. You got two new ones on the roster this year. How have you seen those guys so far early in camp kind of grasp things?
Well, they're working at it. They're eager. You know, you come from a system where you know everything, but then you jump into a new system where you're not really sure. Plus, you're being asked to do about 20 more things than what you did in high school. In high school, you just got to know what your progression is. So you get here, you got to make sure everybody's lined up right. You got to execute motions. You got to make protection calls. You know, changing protection sometimes. You're seeing about 15 times more defensive looks than what you see in high school, and the whole game is happening faster. So just as soon as they think they got an idea of what's going on, we throw more on them, and the defense throws more on them, and they get lost again. So it's a little bit of a process. I like what I see out of them. I think they both have potential to be good players, but they're still a work in progress, no question.
When you look at Alabama's defense, what stands out to you as you prepare and game plan for them?
They're big, they're fast, they're physical. Obviously, they understand what they're doing and understand what they're doing scheme-wise, and they do a lot of different things on defense. So they're very challenging. They're in some ways very much like our defense. You know, our defense is, you know, they're pretty physically talented, but they're very multiple, show you a lot of different looks, do a lot of different things. So the fact that we get to practice against our defense not only helps us against Alabama, but it helps us against most of the teams that we'll play, because there's not a whole lot we see from anyone that we don't see from our defense.
As far as Jacquez Patrick, he's a guy who's really had to bide his time behind Dalvin Cook. Hard to beat out a guy who might be the best running back in Florida State history. How did you see him be patient last year and be ready to step into a starting role this year?
Well, Jacquez has worked. You know, it's a difficult situation to be a backup behind someone like Dalvin, and it doesn't matter how good you are if you take Dalvin out. It was a little bit of a step down last year, and that's no knock against Jacquez, but it's more of a compliment to Dalvin and how good he was. I think he's ready to assume the role. I hope he's ready to assume the role. We certainly need him to, but that's a fun room right now, because we've got some talented guys in there, and you know, running back is someone that can come in and play early, because there are things to learn, but it's way more physical than it is a mental position. And I think we got some guys that are going to push Jacquez, and I'm excited about what Jacquez is doing. I think he can be a really good football player, but we got some young guys in the room that are ready to step up if he's not.